Hello and welcome to episode 39 of the Value of Talent podcast. I'm your host, Harry Trades, and with me, as always, the man, the myth, the legend,
The legend. Good morning.
Federico.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
I know
It's
it's a
6 p.m.
morning. Yeah, it's good morning for me. It's a
Okay.
good morning to the game week. Let's say it like that.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I can definitely vouch for that, mate. 100%. Um, yeah, we're filming this Friday afternoon. Post. Deadline's done, so we've got a big weekend of football and Sorare sort of stuff to get into. Episode 39. Some big things have happened this week. I know a load of podcasts have obviously touched upon it as well, but it's hard not to talk about it. It's the talk of the town right now. It is the Sorare football product update. We'll get into everything that sort of entails. We've got the Premier League 500k competition, manager progression, and obviously a lot more. And then, well, I guess first though is something I really want to touch upon is Feder our little outing to London, Chelsea versus Tottenham on Monday night. I came from Cardiff to London to stay with you. Thank you so much for keeping me safe in the dark streets of London.
You're very welcome.
But it was amazing. We had an unbelievable time. We got to take one of the listeners of the podcast, Dave, if you're watching, or Di Rich. Massive, congratulations on winning the ticket for sure. But coming as well on short notice up to London from South Wales, which is just amazing, wasn't it? It was an amazing day, Fed. If you want to sort of just kick us off then and just sort of tell us, how you thought it all went on Monday.
I actually have to say thank you to all of you participating and everything and cheering up for us. And also got through the 500 followers now. I have more than 500 followers now on Twitter. So that's very good. All organic. So fine. Happy with that. And there was a crazy game. Apparently one of the craziest game ever to be played in the Premier League. I think we witnessed 10 goals, brother, if I'm not mistaken. Like, it was 10 goals, 2 red cards, and I think 12 VAR situations.
Was it 12 VAR situations?
Yeah, I think it was 12 VAR. Yeah, it was 12. With all the red cards included and conduct of violent game and everything. Yeah, I think it was 11 or 12 VAR actions. And also, you could actually say that Chelsea destroyed Spurs, because Spurs now look like so weak in confront to before. Not because how they play, but they lost
not the
Mickey
scoreline, but as far as players have gone and stuff.
Mickey van der Ven, they lost for 3 months now, basically.
Yeah.
Madison apparently also for 2 months.
No way, that long is it? Holy
yes.
shit.
Romero is suspended for 2 weeks, for 2 game weeks, and Udwogi as the same. So yeah.
So half their team basically is gone.
Half the team is basically gone. And also on the other note, I think I have talked on the Champion Europe podcast about how I felt about the game. The game itself, but the stadium atmosphere. I just want to tell you listeners more about the stadium atmosphere. I thought it was brilliant. The stadium was so new, so brilliant. They had the craziest thing is they had the brewery in the stadium. Like that really shocked me and blew me away. And we had to walk up 5 levels, sorry. And then we arrived at our seats, and our seats were actually pretty good, like really, really good. Thanks to Sorare again. Thank you to Suraf if you're listening. That was very, very nice. We enjoyed it thoroughly, and the view was amazing. At the beginning, I can tell you, me and Harry were a bit afraid that we were sitting way too up and had a good view on the field, basically. And we're a bit already, oh shit, we've got bad seats and everything. And but then when we arrived, and we immediately saw, wow, those are crazy, crazy seats. The atmosphere was crazy. Tottenham's Tottenham Hotspurs fan are awesome. Like, they cheered their team on even when they were 4-1 down, and they celebrated it like a victory. Nobody was really pissed at it. Everybody was bought in the team. It's unbelievable. The atmosphere there was so loud, and very nice stadium. Dave is also a very nice guy, just want to say again, and I really, really enjoyed it. And apparently it was also one of the longest games in Premier League history, because it had 27 games, 27 minutes of extra time. So that's quite hefty.
Yeah, man, it was nuts, wasn't it? It had everything. It had yellow cards, red cards, goals, VAR. It was nuts. I was saying to you whilst I was sitting next to you, like I looked on the clock, it was 60th minute, and I said, this game feels like it should be done in that sense, as far as like
Yes.
it should be 90th minute, because of the added on time.
Yes.
And oh, bro, it was crazy. It was actually crazy. Like it felt like we were there for hours, but it was incredible to be there. Like you said, it was. I was so impressed with the Spurs fans, man. Like. It shocked me. They like you said, they literally conceded that third and fourth goal, and I'm not joking. There was not one bit of negativity. Everyone just stood up and clapped. Like
Yes.
you had the Chelsea fans going crazy because they're winning. Obviously, they're beating a big rival, and then everyone else in the stadium was actually clapping and encouraging, saying, "Come on, like stick in it. We know we're done, but just keep running and just keep showing us that you care." And honestly, I've never felt that way in a ground at all. I've never felt that when like a home team is losing to a bitter rival and every home fan is clapping. It was crazy.
I just have to say one thing. Now that you actually mentioned that, you remember like everybody stayed until the end. Like literally everybody stayed until the end. Nobody left before. It wasn't other games where the home side was down 2-0, or even at the Old Trafford when United was down 3-0. People left at the 70th minute. This game, nobody left. Even if after the 2-1, it was clear to everybody that Spurs actually lost the game, because of course you can't get back with two
men down.
players missing. Yeah. Exactly, 2 men down. That's gonna be a bit difficult. And but kudos to them. Like nobody left. Really impressed. Still, I get more sympathy to Spurs now, but there's still no Spurs fans. Now that James Maddison is gone for 2 months, I'm not gonna watch any Spurs games anytime soon anyway. So that's a big shock, and also for my gallery and everything, but we're gonna talk about that later.
Yeah, 100%. I just want to touch upon though, like I honestly, I know you said you mentioned it in the the Champion Europe podcast and stuff, but I wasn't impressed with Chelsea at all. I thought they were sloppy. Yeah. I thought they should have I thought they should have scored way earlier than they did, or take the lead way earlier than they did. But fair play to Tottenham, playing that high line, playing that offside trap, and it worked for a long time, didn't it? Like it did work. It did. Until it didn't, obviously. It's only so many times you can try that without it. Yes. It's just gonna break at the end of the day, isn't it? That sort of. But fair play to Ange. Like he stuck to his guns. He was what's the word, like very stern in the way that he wants to play, as we know, and it didn't change. It didn't matter whether it was 10 men, 11 men, obviously 9 men, and it was a breath of fresh air, to be honest. It was something different. It was super entertaining. But I was, only like I said in the game, we were both really impressed with Cole Palmer, weren't we? We thought he was the standout for Chelsea. I think. Nah. Don't nah me. Don't nah.
No, I never talked about Cole. The best player on the field was Guillermo Vicario by a mile.
Like, okay, no, we're talking about Chelsea here. I'm not on about the pitch.
Yeah, but still on pitch on Chelsea. Yes, no. He was the best. Yeah, he was the best. Yes, I agree with you.
Vicario was incredible. Incredible. Yeah, he was the best player on the pitch. He should have had man of the match.
Palmer probably was the best of a very bad
bunch. Team. Yeah. I agree. Like Mudryk was absolutely shocking when he came on. I'm sorry, but he was shocking. I mean, Jackson, I know he scored 3 goals, but again, I wasn't really impressed. And then I know you're not a big fan either. Sterling, I'm just like Sterling, the way he dribbles nowadays, like he'll like dribble towards the man, which makes the defender obviously retreat, but he doesn't actually like take him either way. He just dribbles to him, and then like nothing really happens. He tries to kick the ball around him or like shoot around the player and disguise it. I don't know. I wasn't impressed with Sterling, if I'm being honest. And yeah, mate, Enzo was poor. We're big Enzo fans. I didn't think Enzo had a great game, to be honest.
Enzo, to be fair, I think Enzo was a bit injured after the huge tackle of Cristiano Romero. So I think he was just keeping a bit back, basically. But maybe, Nicholas Jackson, just a tap-in monster, nothing else. He can't do anything else. You saw that in the last 5 minutes of the game. You remember when basically he had to do the 5-1 and he shoot it in the moon, basically into the stands.
yeah, with his left foot. Yeah.
What the hell?
Oh, I remember.
We were joking about that a long time after. So Nicholas Jackson, you're a good player, but you're not a 9 and you're not Chelsea caliber. And if you would ever like to play for Chelsea, please go back to the wing. You're probably better than Mudryk, so
Yeah, for sure. But
they need a 9. They need a real number 9 that actually puts them in the net and doesn't do only doesn't only achieve to score a goal by tapping. Because I think he has now he's he has now 5 goals, something like that, and 3 of them were the tap-ins in this game. So
against 9 men, I know you have to score, you still have to put the ball in the net, but come on, those 2 were on the plate, and then
I think the 4-1 was crazy because I think he had basically everybody in their mental right state of mind would have passed Mudryk. That would have been the 4-1, basically.
That's how much everyone hates Mudryk right now.
He refused to pass Mudryk and just tried to dribble on the goalie, did dribble the goalie, and then scored himself. So, yeah.
I don't blame him either. I wouldn't pass to Mudryk. Fuck him. Sorry.
I wouldn't pass to Mudryk at all.
Because I can't trust him. I can barely trust myself if I'm Jackson with the way his finishing is. So, if I'm going to pass to Mudryk, I might as well just take it on myself, I think.
I think Mudryk needs a loan to Nottingham Forest to start playing and then start understanding the Premier League. And then maybe he's going to become a good player. But, at the moment, as it is right now, this has no future. And I would loan him out in January, to be honest. But to another Premier League club. Tottenham, Nottingham Forest, even Tottenham, they need players now. They don't have any players, especially in January. In January, they're gonna lose Bissouma, Papasa, and Son. So for 1 month because of the Asian and African games. Wow. So that's gonna be absolutely mental for them. Yeah. Hopefully, Madison comes back for Boxing Day. That's all I want. I'm fine. Take your break, brother. Get well soon, but I need you for Boxing Day.
We need you for Boxing Day, Matters. So make sure you rest up well. But it was an amazing experience. Obviously, massive shout out to Sorare, like you said, and Zura for making that happen. Witness history, Feder. We really did, and it was nice to share that with somebody that obviously, and David, the watches the content and stuff. And obviously plenty more where that came from as well, lads. I'm sure we'll get other chances to take, 1, 2, whatever it is, a couple of you to another game. Just all thanks to Sorare for that, though. But
it might not be that epic, though. I'm sorry for that.
That's the issue. Yeah, it can only get worse, right? It can't get any more exciting than that game. It was insane.
Man, I watched a lot of games in my time. I haven't watched any better game than this one, to be honest. For real, I'm not even lying. This was mental. That game was mental.
It really was. It really, really was. Right, okay. That's 15 minutes or so on the game. I think that's enough to cover it. I think
Vicario, man of the match.
Go on. Yeah, Vicario, man of the match for both of us.
You have to say it yourself because...
No, I agree. He could have let in 10 goals. A bad goalie would have let in 10 goals that game.
1,000%.
But he was incredible. I'll give that to him. We want to get into the product update, lads. Obviously, that was the big news dropping this week on Sorare, in the Sorare sort of community. Massive news. There's loads to get through. I am, if you're watching this on YouTube, I am going to throw up the live screen so you're going to be able to read what I'm saying as well, because it's just a little bit easier. Obviously, if you're just listening on Spotify, I'm sorry, but all you can do is listen at the end of the day, unless you want to go over to YouTube and watch it that way. But anyway, I'm on the Medium post, Sorare football product update. The first thing, I'm not going to read every single sentence, but we're going to briefly go through everything and sort of dissect it that way. Yep. But the first thing, Fed, obviously, is fitness, right? Fitness is basically being postponed. All the facilities, club facilities, whatever they're going to call it. How are you thinking? What's your thinking with that thing to start?
I think fitness in the near future is a thing to think about, but in a way better form that they try to do it or implement it. I think that needs a lot more thinking, and they understood that, and people really hated it. I have not heard a single voice that actually liked that. So they kind of listen to the community. So that's kudos to them. They're not going to touch the threshold. That's kudos to them as well. They didn't even mention that. That's very big news, to be honest. That's one of the biggest news that came out of this product roadmap, to be honest. After other than that, we have the Premier League month-long thing, and then they have other stuff they listed they wanted to achieve, and very big news as well, the Cap 220 long-term format thing. Yes.
Yeah, we'll get into every single one of them in a minute.
The only thing, brother, before we start, actually,
Yeah.
in hindsight. Do you know if this Premier League Cap 270 competition is a separate competition, or is it gonna replace the Cap 270 competition? That's the only thing I
Oh
didn't
yeah.
understand.
Good point. I mean, we'll have to read through it, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't say that it's going to replace 270. So I think it's going to be a completely different tournament. As far as I'm aware, and what everyone seems to, on content and stuff, led and whoever I've spoken to, yeah, I think it's a completely new competition, to be honest.
What do people actually say to the guys that you actually spoke to? What do they think about this Premier League thing? Because I haven't had that many time in the last few days and everything, so I couldn't have read that much on X. I just have my own opinion and nothing else basically,
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
one in the Discord. So, but
Yeah,
we
so
didn't actually write
go on.
that this new update wasn't as big of talked about in the Discord as on Twitter, because on Twitter apparently people were going mad and other loved
Mm,
it and whatever. So just
yeah, yeah.
curious to see what people told you.
I mean, yeah, I haven't had like a direct conversation with Laird when I mentioned his name. Then I was just talking or referring to him and
Yeah.
the Andrews podcast yesterday. They sort of
Yes.
that was related
Yeah.
to their podcast, and yeah, they were both pretty happy with it. I think they were, I think the overarching like negative part of it is the amount of new cards that you need to enter. Right? I think it's 4 for limited, 3 for rare, 2 for super. Sorry, is it 3 for super? 3 for
It's
super.
three.
Yeah, and then 2
Yeah.
for unique. And obviously, and then obviously the other 2 cards or, the other cards still need to be Prem cards. They just can't be, they don't need to be new. I think the only thing I've seen, Fed, honestly, negativity wise is, just the amount of cards, new cards that are needed. But, my pushback to that is, Fed, this is a brand new tournament with 500k on offer. Like, how else are they going to fund? They need to get people buying cards. It's the only way right now. They don't have any microtransaction, for us to spend on. So, they need to force us into the auctions at the end of the day, right? As brutal as that is, it's a business, right? You know that. You're in that sort of world. Like, do you understand why the requirements are so, let's say, not tough, but, so rigorous in that sense? You need 3 new, or, 3 new rare cards. You need 3 super rare. Like, do you think it's too much, or do you think it's enough, if that makes sense?
Actually, I think this is going to be a very unpopular opinion. I think it's pretty fair from Sorare. I would have said 5 new cards. They have to be 5 new cards, basically, for all competitions that I would have allowed anybody to play in. Because,
Okay.
as you said, the only thing probably is that they couldn't have done that because they didn't mint enough of those cards yet. Because
Got
we're
you.
still at
Yeah,
the
yeah.
third of the season, basically. And you get paid down till the 150th place. So, 150th place, if you have a decent team, that's very doable. Like every week, like I'm not even lying. Like on at least in rare, not in limited. Limited is gonna be a bit harder. I agree with that. But 150th place in rare is doable. I think like from 6 times, I could easily achieve that 2 times, something like that. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, yeah.
if 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 they would have required 5 of 5 being new cards, I think there would have been like 70 people able to play, something like that.
Got you.
Because there
Yeah,
isn't
yeah.
as many players who have 5 for 5. But in general, I think that's a very fair thing, and I think it has to be like this because they have to market the Prem. And as you said, they need some money to fund all of this. They have money to fund all of this,
Of
anyways.
course. Yeah,
But
yeah.
like in general, I really like the idea. I really love that. That's basically what we said for the last 1.5 years since we started the podcast. We need these bigger competitions where you don't win cards, don't dilute
Just
your
cash.
market, but
Yeah,
just
yeah.
cash and get the cash and do whatever you want with the cash. Preferably spend it on new cards on the game. That's the best case scenario for Sora. Of course, that's not going to happen all the times for them, but that would be the best case scenario for them. So that's amazing. In regard to that, I have 2 like not negative points, like 2 better suggestions in a way.
Yeah.
Like I think the big price mount is still not like they should have not given as much cash to loads of players. Like they're giving money to 150 players in rare, but maybe they should have gave cash only to like 50 players, the top 50, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other top end, bigger prices, like 1,500 is very nice. Don't get me wrong. If I win 1,500, have a nice month. Like I can go out with my girl every day I want, basically do whatever I want, buy some nice Christmas presents, all the shit. But like winning 1,500 or winning 5,000 is completely different. It's something completely different.
Yeah.
You understand? Also in the mind of people's, like 1,500, you make most people make that a month. Like,
If you're
don't
playing
get me wrong.
Sorare, yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, yeah.
Not even playing Sorare, but
No, but we need to talk about people who are playing Sorare at the end of the day, fella. Like people aren't going to play these competitions unless they play Sorare. So if we're talking about people who earn money, you know what I'm saying? Like I know what you're saying in a general, sense, as people earn probably $1,000, $2,000 a month, whatever. But yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Yeah,
yeah. And that's why, like, make it 5,000 so people are actually gonna get excited. Oh, if I win only one, I can actually live like for 3 months with this money. You know what I mean? And this is the crazy. This is more the fan team thing and the big draft kings and whatever.
There's always like a big podium payout,
bigger, like 20K, 55K. Like you have a real incentive to really go all in and everything. Mm-hmm. And because don't get me wrong, I'm gonna love it. I love it, and I think they're also still experimenting, testing, and finding things out. And I think this is a very good first step. And I'm not as happy, to be honest, at the moment, because I lost my third new Prem card because I had 3 Prem cards. I hadn't needed to actually buy a new Prem card. But Mads is now apparently injured, so I can't use him. So I needed to buy a Prem Keeper anyway, so I'm probably gonna buy a new Prem Keeper card. So I have 3 new Prem cards because I won Kulusevski the last weekend, so very nice on that.
Nice.
I have the new Kulusevski forward card, I have the Madison card, and I have the Jared Bowen card, the new one from West Ham. So if I buy somebody like Vicario in Rea or Alisson in Rea, I think I should be set basically. But we have to pay attention because apparently these competitions only exist when the Prem only plays, obviously. So there's no midweeks for this competitions. There's no midweeks for these competitions, except Boxing Day when all the Prem teams play. But there's also exceptions of, I think, 4 games that are not counted towards this Premier League in-season tournament, which is pretty interesting. And one of them is Man City. So Man City has 1 game less than other teams, for example. And one of them is,
Brighton,
I think...
Brighton lose 2 games. They play... I got it in front of me. They play West Ham on January 12th and Palace on December 12th. So both of those fixtures aren't available. And Man City played Brentford. But I'm just seeing here. So there's 11 total game weeks that this is going on. So, so what you're saying is, do you think they should have done this for maybe 5 game weeks, but the top prize should have been, instead of 1.5K, it should be 3K. You know what I'm saying?
No, I like the length. I like the length a lot. I think
right. So you're asking for more money to be given away then, basically, just in general.
Not more money. I think 500,000 is quite a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. What I ask is instead of rewarding 150 people, I think, which is at the moment the case, right? Please correct me if I'm wrong. Just reward 75 people.
Yeah, it all depends. So, another thing I was going to push...
And double everything, basically. Just reward 75 people and double everything. That's already 3K. It's already a lot better than 1.5. You know what I mean? Because if you win it once, you're basically done for the month. Like, you could actually live out of that month now, then only by playing Sorare. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But as you said, 150 is doable. I think you can actually reach that if you have good matchups and
how many people do you think will play? Like, be honest. How many do you honestly think will play this Premier League Wins competition in Rare? You think 1,000 people? Yeah,
or 750 to 1,000 people, basically.
And what do you think in Limited? So there's 800 prizes in Limited.
Then just triple that.
Okay, so you think like 3K maybe?
Yeah, I think 1/3 of the people will get rewarded.
Interesting.
So it's 33%. That's not bad.
Do you think this competition is mainly targeting new players, or do you think it's trying to encourage old players to reinvest, or both?
bit of both, to be honest.
Okay.
Because it is very cool for new players. Because anyways, if they have new cards, they will buy new season cards, so they've set on that.
Yeah.
And also, it's encouraging old players to rebuy, because the worst thing that I told you that on Monday, I think the worst thing that happens to Sorare is people like other people. I won't say any names, but people just sitting on their cards and minting and just cashing in on
Just
Sorare's
milking Sorare, basically.
milking Sorare basically, and just making out of money. So because you need to still constantly invest if you should be successful, basically, or
Yeah.
you're good enough and win the new cards, basically, and you don't have to invest.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're not good enough, then you probably have to buy them or not play it.
Okay, so one of the
And which
biggest
is completely
pushbacks I've
fine,
seen, I just want to say, one of
because
the biggest pushbacks I've
yeah,
seen in the community, right, is the fact that Sorare released the launch edition Premier League cards last season, okay?
yeah,
And a lot of people have, good collections worth of Premier League launch edition cards. They were the first cards
yeah,
to come out. People, the way that people are describing it is
yes,
like Sorare, like forced collections down our throats in that sense, in a way.
yes,
And
yes.
now there's new Premier League tournaments out, and I'm not saying those Premier League cards are rendered useless, because obviously you can use, two of them in the rare
You still
competition.
can't use them. You still
Of
need
course you
them.
can,
Yeah.
but they're now having to go out and buy new cards. Is that a valid point? Like, do you understand why people are a bit annoyed at that in a way
Yes,
or
but
not?
people are just moaning anyways
Well,
every
of
time,
course
and
they're
I'm
gonna.
I'm sick
Yeah.
of this, to be honest. Like, I understand everything, and don't get me wrong, but people clearly showed Sorare in the face. We don't give a shit about collectivity. We just need utility. And Sorare accepted that. Okay, so we don't care about collectivity as well. We just give you utility. That's basically what they did right now. If you want to have utility, you need the new cards. Bam. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
because people clearly don't care about collectivity. And because nobody's gonna buy a card just for collectivity, just because of usage. First of
Yeah.
all,
Yeah.
second of all, you can use your cards to win those cards. So I don't know what's the problem. Like, there shouldn't be
Yeah.
any problem. Third is, like, I hope we will see in 6-7 years, we will be here drinking a cup of coffee or hot chocolate or whatever you want,
Mm-hmm.
sitting here and just being super happy that Sora still exists and Sora is very, very successful.
Yeah.
And then maybe these launch edition cards gonna be worth something, because people want to have those launch edition cards. Like, I had I had the chance, for example, to have a Garnacho new card instead of the old card, but I prefer the launch edition rookie card. Of course, it's also a rookie card, so it's another thing special, which is just, for me, a collectibility stuff.
Yeah.
And okay, these cards were the launch edition cards, but it's also written on the cards, which is cool in a way. And these cards are the new first 3D printed cards. So why shouldn't you reward people who buy those cards? Like, it's always an endless discussion, and somebody, of course, is gonna lose at the end, because if not, everything would be a perfect world. And
Mm-hmm.
this doesn't exist in our modern society, and it will never exist, because you have a pie and you have to split this pie. You can't just make the pie larger in anything.
Well, you can
And
give it. You can give it injections.
yeah, but you can't
I'm
really
joking. I'm
make it
joking.
large.
I'm
Yeah, I
joking.
know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I understand that. But like, for me, for real, like, I have
Give it some
already, okay,
Anavar. Sorry.
I'm a bit okay, I have a bigger gallery than most people. Of course, I understand that. Don't get me wrong. But like,
Yeah.
I think I've won already 8 new Premier League season cards. So I sold 5 because I didn't know that I would need them, but
Yeah.
I would have loved to hold them. So that's basically my negative point. Basically, just give us a point in like, tell us a bit in advance, like not 2
Yeah.
weeks earlier. You know
Fair
what I
enough.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's maybe the only thing I would have done different. And but yeah, like, you can win those cards, or you just buy those new cards and sell up and trade up. And yeah, it is like that.
Yeah. Fair enough. Okay, that's kind
Like,
of
at
the.
least they don't get worthless. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But
And
is
you still
there?
can use 2 of them, or a limited one. But at the end of the day, limited. I'm sorry, you can buy a limited stack for £50.
Mhm. Do we think this is going to cut? Well, it has already caused new Premier League cards to spike, but do we see after this competition is done, do you think it'll like cause the cards to like plummet big time in price or no?
I don't think they're gonna plummet big time in price, but of course they're gonna go lower in price. But you have to make that money back somehow, or you just buy somebody like you actually really want and you want to keep for more than only for this reason period, and you just say, "Oh, I always wanted the Liverpool collection. Okay, now let's do this Liverpool collection." Or I'm a massive United fan. They're shite at the moment. Let's just buy them cheap, and maybe in 2 years they're good again in a way, And
Yeah.
it's the time to buy now, and I think it's good. And you can't always regret what you're doing. You have to always understand what you're doing and just own your decision and done. You know what I mean? And of course, it's gonna go down, but maybe you just want to keep them, or you have to understand, okay, it's gonna go down, so I have to either make that up or sell it before that. I'm not gonna be on a loss somewhere. If you're thinking in that terms, but
Yeah.
otherwise, like there's gonna be other competition. I think it's gonna be one of the first, and I think they're experimenting. Love that they took away the ETH of Academy. I think that's one of the second biggest thing I've heard of that after that nothing was set to the threshold, because I was very vocal about that we need this ETH removed because it's just ETH rotten there and sitting there for some big users or legend users, and which is not okay. Now legends really have no sense at all, but I'm sorry, I don't really care about legends, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I get that. I just got it on the screen now. Yeah, Academy rewards update. So they've cut the ETH from there, it seems, which is great news. Like you said, you've mentioned that for a little while. There's updates to the amateur kickoff and specialist prize pool. So that's just you can only win a tier 2 in amateur now. You can only win a tier 1 in kickoff, and then you can win a star rare in specialist. I think that's probably the way to do it, to be honest, for progression. And then I guess that goes into the long form 220. Feda, have you? I can't hear you right now, Feda. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I wasn't talking to you.
All right, sorry. I was looking at you at the right moments, and I thought you were speaking to me. Sorry.
No.
Okay, cap 220 long form then, the super cap. Starting on game week 427 until game week 434, they're gonna use the 270 format that they did use, and they're gonna use it for 220. I'm buzzing about this because I've really enjoyed 220 recently, in Super Rare specifically. And Feda, you can win a star. I think it's a star Super Rare or a star.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Are you sure? Can you check,
Quinny.
please?
Yeah. Me and Quinny looked at it earlier. So prize
but
pool.
You have to become first. How much?
Yeah,
how
of
certain
course.
is it that you're not gonna become first?
How do we do this? Did I say
you go on
420?
long term? You go on long term. You go on. You go on play, then you go on own leagues.
Oh, here we go. I think I found it here now. We'll get it. Get it here. Okay, oh no, the prize pools. Here we go. Maybe. Boom.
So you're gonna target
Look at that. Well, I mean, I'm gonna definitely play it. I always play it. First place, because Super Rare, by the way.
1 second, because you didn't play cap 270 Super Rare.
No, I don't think I have the players to do it. I don't have the players to do it. I've won 2 consecutive rewards in 220 over the last 3 weeks. So
yes, you did.
I think I could honestly do pretty well there. And bro, there's like a super rare Messi in here. There's some good thing. I'm not saying they're going to give that away, but you get what I'm saying.
Probably they are.
Maybe 150 super rare rewards. Excuse me, for the long form. I think that's decent, by the way. I think that's really good.
No, I love it. I love the cap to 20 thing. I think they should have bumped the prices a bit, though, to be honest. Like it's quite hard. What I love about the cap to 20 thing is it is somehow a throwaway team anyways. So it is fine if you don't win anything. So it is also good if you kind of don't win for a whole month and then see what the income of the whole month is. Plus, it is super scouty. Like if you know how to scout players,
I was just gonna say that is gonna be huge. Like undercover players with low L15s.
Exactly. Like your ballers, then you have a huge advantage because cap to 70, you still can play Messi's and whatever in there. You know what I mean? So the cap allows that. But if you have a good cap to 20 nose, I think you're very, very well set. That's the 2 main thing I love about it. I think they should have bumped the prices a bit. Third thing I love is you can use a rare goalie. That's amazing. You don't even need a super rare goalie. So
Yeah.
That's pretty. You have a bit of a disadvantage because, oh no, you don't, because it's not counted as the super scarcity, so you only get the percentages anyways. So yeah, I think that's pretty good. Number one is not gonna be achievable. So how many tier ones are they giving away?
So they're giving away 6 tier 1s in rare.
6 tier 1s.
In rare.
Okay, and a super, because
In
I'm just
super.
nowadays I just care about super.
Yeah, you're a whale. That's a whale problem. There
Nah,
is only one tier 2. One tier 1, sorry. Yeah, and then 3 tier 2s,
who
24
gets
tier
the tier one? The
3s.
first one.
No, first gets star,
Yeah.
second gets tier 1, third gets tier 2, fourth and fifth get tier 2, 6th to 30th get tier 3, 31st to 75th get tier 4, 76th to 150 get tier 5s.
So yeah, it is gonna be hard. I think they should have bumped that a bit in a way, but they can't really because they're just accumulating the price pools and just giving it out in 1 month instead of 4 weeks, which is
Yeah,
good
yeah.
because then you reward more players and not the same players at the same time, which I love because then people. Smaller people, or like smaller people, maybe they're tall, like 2 meters tall, but smaller galleries, smaller gallery people, can win good simple super S. And I know a lot of friends of mine who can't seem to win anything in super rare,
Yeah,
even
yeah.
because I don't know why. And now with this cap to 70 competition, they're winning the first tier 4 and the first tier 3 because it allows you to slack up a bit. So
A
basically, it
bit, yeah,
doesn't.
yeah.
Yeah, and this is very good for those guys because they keep being motivated. And guys, like if you win a tier 4 super rare, there could be some real baller in there, and
Yeah, yeah.
it's a super rare, so it's one to keep basically. Like I want
100%.
Diego Carlos as a super rare, as the last tier 4 you could have won as a in super rare. This guy balled a 90 on midweek. He didn't help me at all, but like he's a baller in at itself. You as well. You bought. I think you won Tilo Kera as a
Yeah, yeah.
tier 4. You know what I mean? So
I
there
did.
is big players there that could become very usable if they just get one decent move or whatever. You know. So
Hmm.
that's pretty cool. Like tier 5s. I don't know. Like I've also. The only times I won tier 5s in Super Rare, they were like 38 years old midfielders or something like that. So
I've been
I
quite
gave them
lucky
away.
actually with tier
Yeah,
5.
you have?
Yeah, I mean, decent enough. Like my first one was an under 23 defender. He has scored 3 on goals this season, but his cap is very low, and he plays for
Who?
UPenn. He plays for UPenn. His name is I'll tell you now. I'm just gonna go on my Sorare data. I've actually got him in a decent lineup. 220. Have a look at this. Biomin Balki with a 71 in 220 to kick me off. Is this guy Rune Paihus, something like that. Yeah,
I
his
can't
scores are
see.
really.
I can't see the
Oh,
screen.
you
Yeah.
can't see.
Where's
It's
he
my two.
playing? Where?
He plays for UPenn. He's a centre
Ah, yeah,
back.
you
He's
can.
he's only 21.
Ah,
Like
yeah.
he's young enough. And then like you said, Tilo Kerha. So tier 5s can be okay as well. Is basically what I'm getting at.
Did you win Tilo Kera as a tier 5?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh, that's not bad, brother. Like
That's
not
not
bad
bad.
at all.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, no, I'm buzzing for the 220 competition. I'll play it in rare, obviously, and super. I might actually play it in limited as well for my road to glory. That could be a good idea, potentially.
Yeah, but do you think that's interesting? Because don't you think that would be a waste of your resources in the
Maybe,
road to glory?
maybe, but if I already have the players sitting around, like why not? Basically, it would be my least prioritized lineup out of my two. Oh, I have a 220, 240, and an under 23 limited. I think it would still be third, but I would probably play it. Why not? Four
How
four
how
limiteds. Go on.
how does that go actually? How is the road to glory going?
It's going okay. I'll be honest. We haven't won a reward yet. It's very hard.
You
I have a
haven't
hundred.
won a reward yet.
No, £100 budget under 23 limited is the priority. I've only been playing Cap 240 for the last 2 weeks, but this week could be the week. Biomin Balki, I have him in limited. If we have a look, I know you can't see, but he scored me 69. So I need 210 points from Ivan Heel, Mohamed Cham, and Jorgen Larsen, and my goalie Campos. So yeah, hopefully we hit the £5 or $5 this week because I've not hit it so far. Yeah. I know.
That's how
Shocking.
interesting.
It's hard though, Feta. Honestly, I know you don't play limited, but it is tough. It's not easy down there.
Yeah, limited is tough. I don't understand the scarcity limited, to be honest. I really don't understand it because it's so tough that new users are a bit shocked, and
Yeah. Well, if you're shocked, then what are they gonna be like? Yeah,
exactly. So, but yeah,
Okay. Right. Next thing, manager progression and ranking. By
yeah,
mid-December,
that's interesting.
your manager profile experience will expand with the launch of manager levels through a new and improved achievements feature. Managers can climb the ranks by collecting challenges in Sorare Pro, collections, and rivals when the daily game launches and elsewhere. The goal is for manager levels is to reward the long-term success of managers and allow you to better personalize your profile and celebrate achievements. This is a teaser of what's to come. So on the teaser, you've got basically, I'm just trying to make it a little bit bigger. Basically, you got like reach 100 points for the first time in limited, reach 200 points, win 5 limited rewards, win 50 limited rewards, etc., etc. So it's very similar to the progression bar, I guess, right? It's kind of what
It is basically a progression bar,
isn't it? Yeah.
And because you get soul coins, probably. I probably
assume,
understand
yeah,
I
probably
assume you're
soul
gonna.
coins.
And the future, I think you kind of go use your soul coins for real things like getting cards or getting whatever, and or getting ETH or whatever. I think that's a very good thing. Progression bar in itself, and also kind of bragging rights. We need a bit more the social aspect, a bit more bragging rights, like more leaderboard there, like even only if it's not rivals, but also in the pro division, get the leaderboards in there, get something people want to compete for, even if it's just being number one of Sora of the month of January. You know what I mean? It's a huge thing if you can say that, especially like in the future as well. If we want to have like esports team and whatever, then they are gonna look at this thing. Who has been number one in Sora in January, basically? Who has been number two, number three, and then teams can form whatever, so on. So this is very important as well for the Sora Pro division. But I'm gonna love that. Let's see if it comes December. Like, we know Sorare probably is going to come in February, but let's say.
Yeah,
but it's fine. At least they talked about it and we know what is coming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
At least it's out there now. We have to hold them accountable, I guess, isn't it? And they'll obviously hold themselves accountable as well. Okay, Sorare Rivals, Fed. I know you've mentioned it already because you have been part of the beta program, but they are looking to bring it in January, I think it is, maybe? Or that's what I've heard. I don't know how true that is.
I think there's still a lot of stuff to be done, but I think they're progressing every day. Like every day I see something new on Sorare Rivals. By the way, why did they change the complete interface of Sorare Data? Did you know that?
Things are different, aren't they? Yeah, you are right. They are
like
a bit different.
even
the colors,
like
colors are different.
Even the colors on the app are different now. Like your coins are now in blue, and if you win a rare, it's a red R instead of the card symbol and everything. It's super. I don't know why they did that.
Yeah, they are a bit weird, aren't they? I don't know if I like it, honestly. I'm not sure. I'm not sure I love it, but yeah. So Rivals, obviously, we've mentioned it already. I guess there's not too much to talk about that really, but they're just saying that. They're looking to bring it in very soon. What have we got next? Instant buy. Obviously, I guess we haven't really talked about that, have we, on the podcast? That happened the day I came to see you, didn't it?
What happened?
Well, you know how the whole instant buy thing is now a thing.
Oh yeah, the instant buy thing. Oh god.
What do you think on that?
I'm indifferent. I need to see how this plays out, to be honest, because I think the secondary market needs some love, and that's not good for the secondary market at the end of the day. But apparently, it is going to reduce the auctions, which is, on the other hand, I really like. So people always wanted to reduce auctions. That basically does reduce auctions, and but I need to see how this plays out. So I can't give you an honest opinion right now. I need to just analyze it, see what the impacts and everything. And I haven't really looked at it as much as well because it still is only limited, and I'm not playing limited, so I can't really judge. I need some time to see how this actually works out and everything. But apparently, like the floor hides up because what people are afraid is basically that but in limited, I think it's gonna be hard anyways. Like if a player scores 100 after another 100, people would have just bought him out for 3 years and put him in again for 15 euros, basically. And maybe somebody would have bought him for 15 euros. So you make a nice 5x in 2 hours, something like that. And what people are now afraid is basically that you can't really do that anymore because there's going to be an instant buy for 5 euros very soon after that. So people won't buy the one for 15 euros anymore, but would just buy the one for 5 years. But apparently, these instant buys are pretty well set in a way, and you will see that if the one guy got bought out for 15 euros, the instant buy apparently immediately all go out for 15 euros, something like that. I haven't really understood it and not understood it. I haven't really read through it and given it the second chance thought. I understand. I'm not the biggest fan because just the concept of it is just bad for a secondary market. But on the other hand, as I said, it's super good if we can decrease auctions. That's very important for the health of the game at the moment. If you have a very brilliant and vibing market, auctions are very good because then they're gonna be overbid and the floor is rising. But if you have a market as it is right now, bearish, not bullish, the same as the bear, it goes down like the auction, and it's not going up like the bull with the horns. And so at the moment, I think it's a very good thing in this regard. On the other hand, it's again, as I said, not as good for a secondary market, but we have to see, and I have to give it more time and I have to give it more thought because I haven't really thought about that. It would be unfair to give my honest opinion at the moment, you know.
I think the main use of it feels like it's going to be linked to the rivals, is what they're basically saying, aren't they? They want you to be able to buy a card in the app on rivals. So I think it's going to be good for new to onboard new managers. That's kind of the strategy. It feels like what they're saying. So let's see how it plans out when rivals.
Yes,
actually
basically
launches.
you can play those cards very easy. That's very true, and especially in limited, that makes a lot of sense because like there's players going around for 2 years, 3 years. So if you want to build up your lineup, for example, you just need to buy 3 years, and people just might pay 3 years if there's something to win. Very important, Sorare, if you listen to that. If there's something to win, if it's just about having fun, nobody's going to pay even 3 years. Just saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there needs to be that monetary incentive, doesn't it, for a lot of things.
Not monetary. There has to be something to win. Like there has to be.
Yeah,
like
not
you have
monetary,
to
but
know.
it has to be tangible.
If I win this match, I will get 10k soul coins, for example. And with those 10k soul coins, and I can then buy for sure a ticket, and that needs to be very prompt on the UA, on the UI and the user interface, that the people understand. Okay, that. So I am willing to spend £3 because if not, who like okay, there is people who did that for Fortnite or Clash of Clans or however you call that, but it's a bit different concept and everything. So
yeah, I agree. I definitely agree.
Especially
with that.
if you buy a £300 limited Harry Kane. So yeah.
A random one, but rewards have been delayed this evening, Feder. We've had a notice on Sorare saying, 32 minutes ago, reward delivery will be delayed.
I haven't any reward anyway, so.
Ooh, no reward for you. I got a tier 2 after. Caduce fucked me a little bit, but it's fine. We got a tier 2 rare from under 23 rare. So I'm happy about that. Yeah.
That's not bad.
It's okay.
Can be a Premier League player.
It could. Papa Sarr's actually. I'm the last tier 2, and Papa Sarr's quite low down, so I'm hoping I get a Papa Sarr. That would be fun, but we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, that is the update in itself. To be honest, there's nothing more to say on that really, unless you've got anything to add.
Could you have done better if you would have switched somebody else for Kudus?
Yeah, if I would have played Zaya Emery, I would have won a tier 1. Only by 20. He scored 56. Yeah, so.
So it was pretty competitive still because I think you got the clean sheet and you had two very high. Do you have 2 over 100, right? So
I had.
How many points did you have at the end of the day?
381 maybe in the end. Let me have a look. I think it was 381. I'm just going to put it on screen. But yeah, I was 19th. Yeah, 381 points, 75 from Costa, 51 from Simakan, 31 from Kudus, 122 from Rodrigo, and 101 from Vinny. So yeah, 25 points away from a tier 1.
So Simakan is going to be very, very interesting after the international break.
Why is that? Because Willy Orban's back?
Willy Orban is back, so he should still play. And if he plays with Willy Orban, he's gonna get more points because he's basically then taking the Lukeba role because Willy Orban is then staying back.
Got you. But do we not think that Lukeba keeps his spot because he's left-footed?
At the beginning of the season was Simakan versus Willy Orban. And Simakan is still the best defender they have at the moment in game, like not on Sorare or whatever. If you watch in real life games, Simakan by far is the best defender they have. I think it would be very, very strange if Rosa would take out Simakan, the best defender they have there at the moment.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, let's hope he stays.
Especially because Lukeba is he bought or is he just loaned out?
No, they bought him.
I think he got bought, right?
Yeah, like
so he's quite young. Basically, Lukeba, they have still time to develop him in a way. Simakan's already 23, so if you develop him good right now, then you can sell him in summer for good money, and then you basically develop Lukeba. That's how RB Leipzig thinks as well, you know.
Yeah.
Plus, 100%. he's been the better player. Like, there's not even comparison.
Yeah, there are
people get a bit. Yeah, exactly, and people get a bit. Irritated by the Sorare stats, and Sorare stats don't really show you how good you were in real life, to be honest.
Not fully. It gives a good representation, but yeah, not in credit. Yeah, I know what you mean. The eye test is still, it's still important, isn't it? For sure.
There's so many things that are not really counted in Sorare or counted strangely that it is quite hard. You know, like. Vicario had the 32. You know what I mean?
I know. I know. It's tough, isn't it? Because he was clearly I know there's only 2 goalkeepers on the pitch, but he was clearly the best player on that pitch as far as what he was doing to save his club. But to be fair, he should have had like a last man tackle, surely. Remember
he should have had 2 last man tackles.
That was crazy how he did it.
Yeah, that really was crazy, to be honest. So if he would have had the 2 last man targets he should have been on an 89, I think.
Yeah, which makes sense then, yeah? You know, like that feels right, actually.
That feels right.
It does feel a lot more right. Okay, Feder, I think that probably concludes episode 39. Yeah, I think that was a very sort of fast-paced but quite intense episode in a good way.
Yes.
And I'm happy about it. Yeah, mate, that's probably it. Lads watching at home, all of that. Thank you for watching / listening. Leave a like, leave a comment. Let me know what you thought of the video, of the podcast if you're listening on Spotify. And yeah, massive good luck this weekend if you want to tell them good luck as well, Feder. And then we'll end
good luck, guys. Yeah, let's win some Premier League cards so that we all can play. That's all I can say.
Lovely stuff. Right, we'll catch you next week, lads.